All right. Let's bring Joe Broker on and get him added here.
Oh, dark in here. Hold on. Trying to fix this up.
Take your time, man. No worries. What's going on, Joe?
Nothing, brother. What's up?
Not much. Just hanging out before I go to the gym. Maybe watch this Heat game before I go to the gym. And, Pittsburgh South doing our thing, talking sports, and going to have some fun with it,
There we go.
Absolutely. Let me start off real quick. Oh, you got bars? You're good?
Yeah, I got full bars, so we're good. All right.
All right, cool. Let's start off by talking about the injury report for the Pittsburgh Steelers real quick. Antonio Brown, he was limited in practice today. He's recovering from his calf injury. All the local reporters are saying he should be okay. Artie Burns went down with a non-contact knee injury, so he was also limited in practice. Not sure how bad that is. I read a report that there was no, on the MRI, nothing came up, so he should be okay. It's just a tweak of his knee. BJ Finney is out with his thigh. He's a backup center/guard. And Stephon Tuitt is the big one. He has a non-disclosed elbow injury. His arm was in a sling after practice. So, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, with the top running team in the NFL, losing your starting defensive end is kind of a big deal before a playoff game, do you think?
Yeah, well, definitely, especially a guy like Tuitt, too, because he's going to be big in that run support, stopping Fournette and them guys for Jacksonville for sure. Not that, Fournette or Jacksonville's run game looked that great. Not that Jacksonville's offense, period, looked that great last week. So,
Right.
But of course, you want to be full strength. You want to be full health coming into these playoff games for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the other side of the ball, if Artie Burns can't go, we have Cam Sutton, or not on the other side of the ball, but the other side of the defense, the back end. Artie Burns, if he can't go, that means the rookie Cam Sutton's going to have to step up. And, I'll be honest with you, in this particular game, it doesn't worry me as much because I think Cam Sutton's better in run support than Artie Burns is anyway. And I think that's going to be one of the big keys to the game is whenever they do that outside zone or cutback, halfback cutback play, that corner is going to have to squeeze down in there and make a tackle. And Leonard Fournette's a really big guy, and Artie Burns shies away from that kind of contact. So, to me, that's not.
Yeah, Fournette's a big guy. He's a physical guy. Ask Mike Mitchell; he'll tell you all about it. The summoner, as they call it, on Good Morning Football, I watch every morning. They talk about the Fournette play when he pointed at Mitchell and told him, "Come on, come on," So, yeah, you want to have those guys for sure. Joe Hayden made a real good point today. I heard a little sound bite where, he said the big thing for them, especially in the pass defense, is just not letting guys get behind them. So,
Right.
Although Jacksonville's offense doesn't look that great, although Blake Bortles doesn't look that great at times, it doesn't mean he can't pull a couple out of his ass come Sunday and, make some plays down the field if they are depleted, if they aren't getting any pressure up front. So that's going to be on Jacksonville's offense to depend on how aggressive they want to be, if they want to attack. There's weaknesses if Burns is out, if Tuitt is out, whatever it might be, or even if they're just limited, you got to try to scheme to take advantage of those weaknesses for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, big plays have been a big problem on the back end of our defense all season, absolutely. But one of the things with Jacksonville is, if you look at really what Bortles does, he only made one good pass in that game, and that was the touchdown pass. The guy throws a duck. It's a long windup. It takes forever to get out of his hand. Blake Bortles just doesn't scare me to the point to where, I think he's going to beat us over the top. I'm more worried about him in the run game. He presents a real problem whenever he tucks it and decides to go. So,
he can make plays, yeah.
Rusher. It goes Fournette, Chris Ivory, and then Blake Bortles. He's their third leading rusher on the team.
Yeah, he can make plays, pick up some first downs for you if necessary, to turn a loss into, getting back to the line of scrimmage or getting 1 or 2 yards, getting out of bounds. So, yeah, I mean, and that's something, Pittsburgh has always kind of struggled with mobile quarterbacks if they can't contain. So I don't
Exactly.
necessarily think Blake Bortles is the most mobile quarterback. He can move a little bit more than, certain guys can, Eli Manning or something to, make a comparison there. But again, we'll see. I mean, it's supposed to be brutal cold, frigid cold again in Pittsburgh. They're saying 17, 18 degrees at kickoff. So, that could play into it. The ground game maybe is going to be a little more important than what it normally would have been. They say AB's back. He's starting to, get healthy and working now at practice. So, they'll look good on offense. Even if they're not full-strength defense, I don't think Jacksonville's going to be able to score with them this week unless, of course, you see Ben making mistakes again, be it, forcing balls or if they are getting some pressure, he's throwing off his back foot, ducking balls, short arming balls, whatever it might be. I don't see them going into Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, I can't see that, that's going to continue. I mean, the first game with Ben Roethlisberger, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, 5 interceptions. You're definitely not, like you said, going to see that again. I mean, he did force a lot of balls to AB, but now you have Juju Smith-Schuster emerging. You have Martavis Bryant rounding back into shape. Le'Veon Bell has been getting better at backs in the league. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like you said, I can't quite see, that happening. But bear with me one moment. We lost Joe. I'm going to try to bring him back on. Approve. You back yet, Joe? All right, so Joe isn't quite back yet, but I'm going to pick up, where we left off with Blake Bortles. Oh, there he is. He's back. All right. Welcome back.
As usual, phone troubles, Facebook troubles, whatever it is, something happened. I got kicked off. So
Right.
But I heard you following up someone, like you said. Yeah, Ben's not going to throw 5.
Yep.
Some other fluky things.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Whatever. I said, there could be some other fluky things that are going to happen, special teams, the ball bounce is funny. So we'll see. I feel good about them winning this week. We'll see the following week how it's going to play out, but they should be able to take it home this week.
I look at it like this. If it's a game where it's, 9-6, that game favors Jacksonville, in my opinion. I mean, if it's a, 20-point game, 25-point game, 27-point game, whatever, I think that favors Pittsburgh. So I think if we can get the lead early, get Bortles throwing the ball. If Bortles throws the ball 20 times or more, they're losing that game. If he has to throw the ball 20 times plus, I mean, he's one of the lowest rated quarterbacks in the league. He's not very good.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see. It's playoff time. I don't anticipate much from him. I am not slighting Jacksonville's defense in any way, but Pittsburgh's offense should be strong enough and should be able to score enough points to come away with a victory this week.
Right.
But again, if they're getting pressure, if Calais Campbell's getting home, if they're getting in Ben's face, if they're putting him down, if he's throwing off his back foot, if he's trying to force the ball to AB or whoever it might be, then it's possible. It's possible.
I mean, anything's possible, but I mean, if you look at just the difference of the team from the beginning of the season to now, I mean, just the confidence he has in Juju, the confidence he now has in Vance McDonald, and he's gaining more trust in Martavis again. I just think it's a completely different dynamic with that team now than it was in the beginning of the season. So I just can't see Bortles is having his best season ever. 13 interceptions on the season is his best season ever. I mean, that just tells you all you need to know as far as if he just, gets the opportunity to throw the ball more than 20 times, it's not going to go well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, that's my whole point of view.
No, that's not what they're built on. That's not their MO. That's not how they've gotten here for sure. So it'll be interesting, as they said, see what type of game plan they come out with, how they try to attack Pittsburgh's defense. If they are missing some players, if they are a little weak,
right.
What Doug Marrone and the Jacksonville staff can dig up and come at Pittsburgh with. You can't run the same game plan they ran earlier in the year. That's not going to work. Defensive wise, you're going to probably see some of the same schemes, some of the same blitzes, some of the same coverages, similar stuff there. But like I said, Ben's playing a lot better football now too than what he was. So, he might throw one or two. Jalen Ramsey's a hell of a cornerback. They have some really good players on that defense. And honestly, they're set up, Blake Bortles withstanding, they're set up well going forward. They're young, they're talented. Their defense is very, very deep.
Right.
I said that Fournette, having Fournette, he's just in his rookie year, so he's got 3 to 5 years ahead of him at least of high-level play. So they're set up well. So, like I said, they got their win last week. It's time for them to go home.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They got their one win. Their participation trophies in the mail. Yeah, they're definitely going home. I mean, the one thing, too, people don't realize about Jacksonville's defense is that their run defense is not very good. I mean, they're 21st in the league. I mean, that's not very good. They give up over 120 yards per game. So, I mean, you can definitely move the ball on the field with them. I think Boswell, too, even if it got in a kicking match, I think Boswell can score enough points, too, just by getting in the red zone to put this team away because they just can't score, Jacksonville. So, I agree with you on that. I think it's time for them definitely to go home. Let's take a look around the league. I mean, there's some other good playoff games, going to be underway. Atlanta, Philadelphia in the game, and you have Matt Ryan versus, unfortunately, Nick Foles instead of, Carson Wentz. But it's still going to be a good contest. So let me try to get Joe back. It looks like he is still having some troubles with the Facebook Live feed. So we'll try to get Joe back on here momentarily. And I'll continue on with the Atlanta Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Philadelphia Eagles, they are definitely more than just Carson Wentz. Nick Foles is okay, but they have a really good run game and they have a really good defense. Just to illustrate that point, I don't like to just say really good without anything to back that up. They are third in the league in rushing yards. They are third in the league in points scored per game. They have, the defense to go along with it. They're first in the league against the run. They only give up 79.2 rushing yards per game. I mean, that's an insane number to me. 79.2 yards per game for the rush. Their defense is pretty spectacular. Also, they only give up 18.4 points per game. I mean, in the era of spread offenses and, all these different gimmicky things to get people open, it is really difficult to give up only 18 points and under. So that's a really good mark by them as a defense. And as far as passing yards go, they only give up 306 for fourth in the league. So Philadelphia's defense is phenomenal. On the other side of the ball, so is Atlanta's. I mean, Atlanta has Deion Jones. He's one of the quickest linebackers you'll ever find. They have their rookie, Tack McKinley. I mean, he's flying off the edge every play. Now, he can get sucked in on play action. He can also get, cutbacks on him because he's always crashing in towards the quarterback. Their corners are really good for the Falcons as well. I mean, you have who's the guy? Desmond Trufant. And then on the other side, you have Alford. Alford's playing really well as well. So it's going to be a really good matchup in the NFC, the Saints versus the Falcons. The Titans-Patriots, I mean, there's really no point of me touching on that. I mean, Dick LeBeau is a great defensive coordinator. He played, when he was coordinating in Pittsburgh for years. But I just can't see them mustering up enough offense to hang with the Patriots. So the Patriots over the Titans. I have the Falcons over the Eagles and the NFC. Yeah, Joe, it sucks, man. Whenever your connection keeps going in and out, it's one of those things, brother. It's a pain in the neck, that's for sure. But we're going to keep rolling on. Whenever you get your phone right and you can get a connection, just try to hop back in, and I'll add you right back on. The other game in the NFC is going to be the Saints versus the Vikings. Now, I mean, those are two really compelling matchups, the Saints versus the Vikings and the Eagles versus the Falcons. To me, if I can only watch one of those two games, I'm watching the Saints versus the Vikings. That to me is going to be, the game I want to watch. So yeah, the battery died. Yeah, that sucks too. That's never good. It's one of those things where Facebook or any live video stream is just going to put a drain on your battery on a cell phone. So I hear you. Sucks. But we'll get you on Sunday right before the game. I'm going to try to do another Pittsburgh South right before the game. Maybe we'll have some more injury updates, more up-to-date analysis and that sort of thing. The Saints versus the Vikings. Let's talk about them really quick. Drew Brees is still one of the best in the business. I mean, he may have lost a little bit of speed. He may on his pass. He may have lost a little bit of mobility. But that dude is just next level when you talk about accuracy. So it's going to be a heck of a chess match between that defense of Minnesota and the Saints offense. So that's the matchup I'm looking forward to. I'm taking Saints over Vikings as my upset special. As much as Case Keenum has done to just hold on to that job, I can't see him out-dueling Drew Brees in the playoffs. The only way would really be is if the Vikings defense causes turnovers and they get a lot of points off turnovers. So the Saints defense is much improved. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best corners in football. I love the way Crowley competes for the Saints. He's their corner opposite Marshawn Lattimore. So I'm really thinking the Vikings are going to take that game. I'm going to swivel back around really quick to the Steelers-Vikings, and then we're going to touch on the NFL. Really quick. So Steelers-Vikings, I want to talk schematically about a few things that they can do. Let's see, Vikings going to the Super Bowl in their home dips. I mean, maybe, Joe. I mean, it's possible, but I just can't see that Case Keenum is going to out-duel Drew Brees in the playoffs. And, I mean, Brees has a ton of weapons. I mean, that rush game from the Saints is no joke either. Alvin Kamara and, Melvin Ingram. Who do you take away? That's my question, Joe, whenever you get back on, is who do you take away if you're the Vikings? I mean, how are you going to take away both Kamara and Ingram and take away Drew Brees' pass game? It's just impossible. It's not impossible, but, the probabilities are just so low in your favor to be able to completely shut that guy down. And I just can't see Case Keenum putting up enough points to beat the Saints in the playoffs. That's my take on it. Because the Saints are 10th in the NFL in points scored, 23.9. So they're kind of mediocre across the board on offense. Home dogs, first time, number 1 seed. Nick Foles is my answer, Joe. Nick Foles, bro. I mean, as much as I would like to think it's just Nick Foles is not going to get it done. I don't believe in Nick Foles at all. Vikings D is stout. I agree. They're one of the best defenses in the league. But when you have an elite quarterback, he puts the ball where only his receiver can get it a lot of times. If you're going to sit back and try to defend the pass, Kamara and Ingram are going to have a good day on the ground. If you try to take that away, the Saints are going to spread you out, and they're going to let Drew Brees do his thing. There's going to be a mismatch somewhere. So I agree with you. They have tough defense, but my money is with the Saints. I had them going to the Super Bowl a while back, middle of the season. I'm with that. Atlanta, very iffy. They're very iffy, man. I'm with you, but I just, the veteran quarterback versus Nick Foles, I don't like it, man. Again, I keep going back to the quarterback play. Quarterback play is so important in the playoffs. I hate to do this to my man Brent, but if you look at the St. Louis Rams, right, Jared Goff is an emerging quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but the playoffs are a different animal. And if you don't have that championship piece, it's very difficult to win in the playoffs whenever it comes right down to it. The Saints the Tennessee Titans were very lucky in the playoffs that Mariota caught his own touchdown. It could have been intercepted, it could have been deflected, and they would have been out of the playoffs. That was all very lucky. But quarterback play is huge. That leads me back to the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles is not a quarterback that's going to lead you into the playoffs. One of the things the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to do whenever they have Antonio Brown, whenever they have Juju Smith-Schuster, they have Le'Veon Bell, and they have Vance McDonald, they're going to be able to spread Jacksonville out, and they're going to be able to let Le'Veon either run on the weak side or be able to come out in the backfield against a linebacker or a safety. Who's going to match up with Le'Veon Bell out of the backfield is the question whenever we get that type of pass game going. Is it going to be Telvin Smith? He can't hang with Le'Veon Bell. Is it going to be Miles Jack? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to hang with Le'Veon Bell either. It's one of those things where we just have so many weapons. It's just a bad matchup for a lot of teams in the NFL. As far as schematically with the Jacksonville Jaguars, if we do go man press instead of going to that zone defense that we like to do, we've been trending towards man press a lot more in anticipation of the playoffs in the New England Patriots. You're not going to have those run gaps where the corners are playing 25 feet off the line of scrimmage and just getting run. And Jack is a stud. Nothing away from Miles Jack. But Le'Veon Bell is just a different animal. He runs routes like a wide receiver. It's not like Gurley where he's catching screen passes, and screen passes. And he actually runs wide receiver routes, quick slants. He runs wheel routes and back turnaround stops. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with Le'Veon. So he's the ultimate X factor whenever it comes to that, in my opinion. So I just think it's one of those matchups where you have a really good defense. And I think people are sleeping on the Steelers' defense as well. Tyson Alualu, he is a 10th round pick in the NFL. First round pick, 10th overall, Tyson Alualu. He played for Jacksonville for a long time. If Stephon Tuitt can't go, you're not losing much in the run game with Tyson Alualu. Tyson Alualu can hold his own there in the run game. And he's got, 4 sacks on the year? Let's take a look at the stats really quick. As a backup, we're going to take a look and see what Tyson Alualu has done. Let's see. Where is he at? Defense. Tyson Alualu, he has over 39 combined tackles. He's got 14, we know that. It's in the combined. 39 combined tackles, solo and assisted. 4 sacks on the year. So, I mean, it's one of those things. You have Cameron Hayward still. You have Tyson Alualu. And you have Javon Hargrave in the middle. I mean, we've shored up a lot of those issues we're getting in the run game that Jacksonville exploited early in the season. And like I said, with Artie Burns, if he's injured and Cam Sutton does have the play, I still think he's a better run support corner than Artie Burns anyway. So in this particular matchup, I don't see that hurting us. Sean Spence, Vince Williams has been huge. I mean, he's been all over the field. 89 tackles on the year, 8 sacks. So, I mean, we still have a pretty good remedy for the Jacksonville run game. So we are 20th in the league against the run. That's not great. It's not even mediocre. It's just plain not very good. But I think it's improving, and I think we're getting better with our run fits and gap discipline. So I don't think you're going to see all those big cutbacks. Well, you really didn't see a lot of big cutback plays in the last game. It was just timely in that last game where, whenever they were trying to put the game away, we blitzed everybody, brought the house on a run blitz, and we lost contain on the outside, and Fournette went off for that big 80-yard, 70-yard run that he had. So those are my picks for the day. I think it's going to be a great football weekend. We're going to have a bigger update on Artie Burns and the Stephon Tuitt injury. I'm sure the information is going to come out before the game, probably a few days before the game, because the inactive list is going to have to be put out there. So we got a lot more to get into in terms of that. Let's go over to the NBA since we're done with the NFL. The NBA, to me, is starting to heat up. I mean, my Miami Heat, y'all probably don't want to hear it, but they are actually going to make some noise. They're not title contenders, but they're going to give somebody a rough out in the playoffs. I mean, Bam Adebayo for a rookie center, I mean, his agility on defense is just amazing to me. A guy that big that can move that well is just phenomenal. Also, Houston, the Rockets, I mean, are they going to be able to stay healthy? James Harden is out with an injury. Chris Paul had an injury earlier in the year. They still can score the ball, but it just isn't going to be enough in the playoffs for those older guys to stay healthy. I'm not sure. I've been saying this all year about Golden State. I hate beating a dead horse, but it's just you got to understand that they have superstars. I mean, mega stars that are just getting injured, and it's not mattering. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're 33-8. They got an 80% winning percentage. I mean, Durant's missed a bunch of games. Curry's missed games. Draymond Green has missed games. It's just one of those things that's going to be tough. San Antonio's hanging tough, still in third place, even after Kawhi missing all that time. LaMarcus Aldridge has been coming back into his own. I don't really trust Aldridge in the playoffs when things get physical. He's not a very physical player. Oklahoma City. I mean, they're riding. They are riding the wave up and down all year. Oklahoma City. I mean, I'm not really liking their style of play because the ball still doesn't move. Denver, I like Denver. Denver's going to surprise some people. They may give some people trouble in the West and knock somebody off. Who knows? In the East, it's still Boston. It's still Cleveland. Toronto's okay. I mean, Kyle Lowry, when he gets injured, I mean, that offense just struggles to score points without Kyle Lowry to help DeMar DeRozan. They just don't have any other scorers other than DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. So I really don't believe in them in the playoffs either. Whenever it becomes a half-court game, grind it out. You only got those two players. I'm not buying it. They're second in the East, but I'm still not buying them. Boston, to me, is still the best team in the East. Cleveland is still the second best team in the East. And like I said, my Miami Heat, I see us making some noise, giving people some problems. So it's gonna be a fun time. I had a good time talking to you guys again today. Hopefully next time we can get Joe through a whole Pittsburgh South episode without his phone going dead. Yeah, it's been cool. I'm glad you guys tuned in. It's always fun to talk sports. So here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh South Sunday before the Steeler game, about 11 or 12 o'clock. See y'all there. Peace.